Hello, everybody. Welcome to the World 1 podcast, episode 2. I am your host for this episode, Mr. Eddie V. And joining me is Mr. Adrian Nieto
Hello.
and Mr. Larry Giver.
Whoop, there it is.
Oh my goodness, I was listening to that song too. It came on the radio and I was just like, oh my goodness, this is straight in 90s. And then they played My Boo. I was just like, oh my goodness, I want to hear all this Atlanta bounce music back from 95 and up. They used to be oh wow. Sorry about that, everybody. Just had a throwback. But thank you guys for joining for this episode. We are going to have a good discussion for you. And thank you, everybody, for listening to our first episode. I got some responses saying they really enjoyed it. So I can't wait for more people to hear that. So we once again, thank you. In episode 2, we have some good topics. We're going to be talking about retro style comebacks. We're going to talk about VR. And we're also going to talk about the Wii U's exit. But first, we have a new segment. It's called Indie Watch, and we're going to be talking about upcoming indie games coming to you that you guys might like. You might be interested. So, Larry, tell us what your Indie Watch is.
Well, it's halfway out already. I've been eyeballing and keeping an eye on a game called Armacrog. It's out on PC already, and it's still on its way for Wii U yet. But Armacrog is done by the fine folks that were responsible for the Neverhood way back when, and the follow-up for that was Skull Monkeys, and it's a delightful, wonderful claymation game. Armacrog is that same art style and sense of humor, just follows a new set of characters, including a crashed astronaut and his talking blind bird dog thing. It's very much, point and click style adventure, much like the Neverhood was. And it's one of those that just continues to make me question, why, for the love of God, have we not gotten more point and click adventure style games, new and old, on the Wii U at this point? It's one of those things that always seemed like a very common sense fit, given the input of the touchpad. But hopefully, given this, we'll see maybe a few more before the Wii U makes its way out and we're on to the NX next.
Well, Telltale Games haven't really developed anything a lot for the point and click, or Sierra Games haven't made a point and click. I don't even know if Sierra Games are still out.
I believe Sierra is doing the new King's Quest, if I remember right.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I was watching the trailer for Armacrog, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, this looks really nice. It is available for Steam, and Good Old Games for $24.99 for the regular version. The deluxe edition is $29.99. I am gonna pick it up for Wii U once it drops. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Clay Fighter mixed with Out of This World frame rate. It's kind of weird, but it looks really, really nice. So that's Armacrog. Adrian, what is your Indie Watch?
So there's this game that I backed on Kickstarter a couple of years ago. It's called Mystic Searches. I don't usually back Kickstarter games unless they really speak to me. I back Mighty Number 9, of course. I'm a big Mega Man fan. Everybody knows that. So that was a no-brainer. And I backed Yooka-Laylee. Again, it's a Banjo-Kazooie, basically for the new ages, and I love Banjo-Kazooie as well. So it was a no-brainer backing those two. But Mystic Searches, though, it was quite an interesting story. If you look at their old Kickstarter campaign from, I want to say 2013 or early 14.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. The guy that is making the game, Joe Granato, however you pronounce his name, I really don't know. He basically was saying how he had this idea for an NES game when he was a kid, and he wrote a letter to Nintendo saying like, "Hey, can we make this game? And why not? Or send us what you can for us to make this game." When he was a kid, right? And Nintendo, of course, sent him a response saying like, we appreciate your love for our products, but we unfortunately cannot do that. So he forgot about it until recently, and that's when he launched the Kickstarter. And he shows his passion for the NES era, for old school RPGs like Final Fantasy and what's the other one that you guys like so much?
Dragon Warrior.
Dragon Warrior, yeah, thank you. And stuff like that, right? So he put a team together to make this new game, Mystic Searches, a brand new NES game that is going to work on the actual console. So if you get like a physical copy of the game, which I back that level, you are gonna be able to play it on an NES like the way it's meant to be played, right? So that's pretty cool. I thought that was fantastic. His Kickstarter was also to create like a documentary of the process of how to do that and all his journey toward doing so, and digital manual on how to make your own NES game. So of course, as a game developer, that really spoke to me, and I was like, man, like this dude has passion and drive, and he knows what he's doing. So of course, please take some of my money. I totally I want to have this product. And then like I follow the Facebook page, and I actually have Joe on Facebook, and like every time they post something about the game, and like, man, I'm so excited. Just please give it to me already. Like I want to play Mystic Searches. Like sounds so cool, and if possible, he's also gonna make like this newer version of the game that is gonna work on Wii U, and you're gonna be able
Yeah.
to connect the Wii U version and the NES version together. So if you unlock something on the NES version, you can bring that to the Wii U version. If you unlock something on the Wii U version, you can pass that onto the NES version. So there is a really cool transferring mechanic that we haven't seen since, like, honestly, what, the GameCube days, and they barely used that on with the Game Boy cable. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited to see what's gonna come up for that. Did you guys got a time to check it out or no?
I know when you printed the trailer printed. You posted the trailer on Facebook, and that was the last time I seen of it. But I was very interested in that. I seen a video where one of his artists is doing like concept art, and it's kind of like fast moving, and he has the main character and this kind of demon, and it looks really really cool. That's as much as I seen it, and then I found out today that he was doing a Wii U version for it, and so they showed a little bit off of that. That was the last thing that I seen of it.
I remember seeing that when it popped up a couple years ago, and unfortunately, I kind of lost track of it from there. But I remember looking at that, going, "God, that looks really fucking cool," and I would totally be down for that.
Yeah, like everybody knows, I like RPGs. I just don't have the time for them. The few RPGs that I've played in the last couple of years were because of the NBC Book Club, or just things that I touch for like an hour or so, and they were like, "This is fantastic. I'm gonna come back to this," and then I never do because again, don't really have the time. But I know, man, like I'm sure as soon as Mystic Searches drops, I'm gonna drop everything. It's gonna be all hands on deck. Just Mystic Searches for. I want to play for like at least a good weekend, right? Like I'm gonna take a Friday off. I'm gonna order some pizza, some wings. I'm gonna get some beer as well, and I'm gonna get the weekend off as well. I'm just gonna be playing for an entire weekend. Get as far as I can, and then keep playing it whenever I get a chance. But I want to like a whole weekend of just Mystic Searches. Like I honestly cannot wait for that game.
And I kind of,
Nice.
I really hope that he brings that game to Wii U also, like to the eShop, like to buy, because I mean, I don't own my NES, and I would have to go find like a garage sale or go to a Salvation Army and get the cords and everything to find it. But it really looks good. I can't really wait till you finish it. You guys can check out his Kickstarter. Just look it up. Mystic Searches. He has a trailer on Facebook, and he has a trailer on YouTube. So just type up Mystic Searches. Anything else, Adrian, about it?
He's doing some interesting things with like jumping mechanics and stuff like that we don't really we saw on a couple of not RPGs, but of course adventure games like Mario and I guess Legend of Zelda 2 is it's also the Adventure of Link.
Mm,
It's also kind of like an RPG, and you jump there. But this is a top-down game, right? So
yes.
jumping in a top-down perspective in a 2D plane, it looks really weird, but he's making it work, right? And there is some stuff in which you jump and then you use your he has like a lute, which is like a small guitar or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The character is a bard, by the way, which I also thought it was fantastic. Like I'm playing a bard on a D&D campaign, and bards are like the weirdest characters to have an RPG for, but man, like he's making it work, right? And so like he jumps and then like goes down like Link or Shovel Knight, but in like top down perspective. So it looks really weird, but it really works as well, right? So again, I cannot wait for to play this game.
Yeah, I when something like that, I always look at the shadows for that attack. Because if my shadow is over the
Hmm.
enemy and matches up, that's when I do it, and I can't wait for that to
Yep.
happen. All right, thank you guys for that indie watch. We're going to get out to our first discussion. Retro style comeback has it been successful in the last 5 to 10 years? If you look at something like Shovel Knight, and the success story, it really not only hit Nintendo and PC and 3DS, it became available for all the consoles. And now that the digital version and the physical version is out, people are still giving it like high praise, for that game because they kind of miss that old NES style retro playing of games. Have you guys feel like the comeback for that NES retro style games, 8-bit style games? You think it's been successful in the last 5 to 10 years?
I think it's been tremendous. There's been so much, and frankly, I think a lot of that you can almost attribute back to some of the stuff that dropped on WiiWare, going back to things like Mega Man 9 and the Bit Trip series, really driving a lot of that, which I think led way to things like Fez, and some of the retro style mechanics of some of the older genres, stuff like Castle Crashers, where you saw beat 'em ups, have a good solid run again. And, going forward into things like Shovel Knight and Axiom Verge, which I cannot tell you how thrilled I am that is coming to Wii U finally.
It should come to 3DS though.
I don't care where it comes, as long as it shows up on a system that I have, because I want to play it for the love of God.
Yep. Yeah, like I totally agree with you, Larry. I think thanks to stuff like like Kickstarter and stuff like that, right? And like cons and other places, there's been people are falling in love again with. I mean, of course, we never stop loving those old school retro games, but now new people, new generations are playing new older games, I guess, and they're loving it just the same. Actually, I had a kid on one of my shifts a couple of days ago. No, it wasn't a couple of days ago. It was maybe 2 weeks ago. Who was like, he was looking at the amiibo and stuff. He was looking for the Shovel Knight amiibo, and of course, Shovel Knight is kind of like sold out here at the moment. But it was like I was very much surprised to see this kid was like 7, 8, 9 tops, right? And he was looking for Shovel Knight. That just shows me how, man, like how a game like Shovel Knight is so strong that for a kid like 9 years old, he's like super looking forward to getting the Shovel Knight amiibo. He loves the game, loves the character, loves everything about it, right? And that makes me really happy.
Do you think that something wonderful as fast, like you mentioned, Larry, it was good for what it was, but it also had its problems. Do you think a lot of people who now are getting into that style of that modern retro style of games, do you think they're able to handle the stuff that we had to go through back in the old school days? Because a lot of people don't have to handle the slowdown or have to blow in a cartridge and stuff to get your game working and graphics glitching and stuff. I think a lot of people haven't like realized that when they play games. Do you think um with modern games being fixing those problems and stuff, do you guys think that kids or like people who that's now getting into retro style games, do you think they need to experience like the problems that came with the games?
No, because for me, I mean, the biggest thing to really take away from the old stuff was so much of the challenge that was there that's not present in a lot of, contemporary big AAA stuff, that comes out now. And for me, being able to pick up something on virtual console that I had, 25 years ago and just get straight to it and not have to wonder, is my game going to freeze? Am I going to have to reboot the damn system? That's a huge turn on for me. And frankly, I think that's a tremendous boon for, retro gaming, period. And that's something that I'm perfectly okay with letting the old stuff like those hitches and problems fall away.
Yeah, you nailed it. I can't say anything else besides that.
Well, the reason I bring that up, last month we covered The Legend of Zelda for the NES, and it seemed that it was a very difficult game for a lot of people. Like they didn't know what to do, or it felt very difficult and challenging trying to find stuff, and without looking at a guide or talking to people about the game, they found it very difficult to get into. Some people did finish it, some people haven't finished it, but they were just like, surprised at how deep it was, but yet challenging because it didn't give you no direction. Where games nowadays kind of give you directions on what to do and where to go. Do you think more people need to experience that? Cause like for me, definitely, even though I love the modern retro style games, I don't have a Ninja Gaiden to go back to. Like, there's no indie developer making that old Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, well, 1 and 2, I should say. There's no developer making a game like that.
Dishwasher.
Yeah,
I played Dishwasher and I immediately felt like, ooh, Ninja Gaiden, but extra bloody.
I haven't heard of Dishwasher.
Yeah, it's for the Xbox Live Arcade.
Oh.
Yeah. But see, I think stuff like that, graphic style. Let's touch on the graphic style. Did you think the pixel 8-bit makes that retro style more authentic in a way, or do you think like a HD kind of look and feel to it makes it like very retro, like guacamole? The first thing that comes up definitely guacamole. I'm sorry, guacamole. It takes the inspiration of Super Metroid, but it's a HD, like a new design look. Where Axiom Verge has that 8-bit. Well, I want to say it is somewhat 8-bit, but it's running a little bit faster because of the graphical style and the power of the PlayStation, I should say, or PC.
Well, no, I mean, if we go by that, like Shovel Knight has a bunch of colors that won't run on an NES, but the graphics are NES inspired, right? Like if you take some of the colors out and stuff, it will probably run on an NES. It will take some work, but it will. I think it will probably do it better. But yeah, it's. I don't think it has anything to do with how sharps the graphics look. It's all about the gameplay. The good thing about all those games back on the NES, the Super Nintendo, was how with little to no direction, you were just out there exploring the world, and it was a compelling gameplay that you were having, right? Like, I mean, of course, when the Super Nintendo hit, you had a bit more of a story and background, like Link to the Past and Super Metroid, Earthbound, of course. But on the NES, it was all about the gameplay. Mega Man, Mario, DuckTales, right? Like, that was another great game. And the thing with these newer games is that sometimes whenever they try to imitate old school stuff, I think they add way too many things to appeal to a younger demographic that didn't grow up with those games. Like, for example, on Guacamole, they always explain to you, like, hey, this is how you hit, this is how you do the combo, you just gain a new ability, this is how you activate the ability, and stuff like that, right? While Shovel Knight, if you really think about Shovel Knight, the first level, they don't tell you anything about how to do anything. You start walking, you find an enemy, you hit a button, and you're like, oh, or you just flip it with your shovel, and the enemy dies. Oh, okay, cool. This is how I hit enemies. Then you start doing more stuff. Later on, there is a place where you can't jump high enough, but there is a bubble that appears, and you're like, well, what do I do with the bubble? You pop it, no, nothing happens. The bubble appears again. That's weird. You jump on the bubble hits you. Right, that's not it. So now I'm gonna jump on the bubble. I'm gonna press down. Oh, I bounce out of the bubble with my shovel. Okay, so this is something new that I can do that I didn't know how to do before. You learn that by playing and by trying and repeating the process. While some newer games are trying to imitate that old school feeling, they go like, oh no, do this and do that and shoot like this or shoot here. They show you a lot of stuff. So maybe
Too
I'm
much
too in
damn
love with
hand
Shovel Knight.
holding.
Yeah, exactly.
They
Like,
don't-
you know what? Like, I know everyone is excited for action version with you, and truth be told, I'm excited to play Action Verge as well. I remember when the game came out, I was like, man, finally a reason to use my Vita. Charge my Vita. I buy a 20. No, I didn't buy anything. I was gonna use my credit card. I got my credit card out and I go into the PS Vita store. Nothing. It's like, oh, that's just odd. So start checking online. Oh no, it dropped on PC and PS4 first. Great. So the one time that I wanted to use this stupid machine, the game is not even available yet. Fine, whatever. I'll wait. Man, like that was like a year ago. The game is just coming out on beta now. I don't care. Like honestly, I don't care anymore. And I played the demo on PS4 and was like, I I don't understand what people are saying. Like, oh, this is better than Super Metroid. Honestly, the game, no, no, it's not better than Super Metroid. Sorry.
Well,
It looks cool and it feels cool, but it's not better than Super
and
Metroid.
the thing about it is the way that not that it plays but there's just some things about it that doesn't represent like Super Metroid. Like I feel like Super Metroid is a little bit cleaner and crisp and has kind of a better design than Axiom Verge. I think Axiom Verge is
Enemy wise, is
Yeah.
like the backgrounds and everything. Like I was playing action versions, like man, like okay, what was it? Criteria or Criterion? The first level.
Criterion.
Criteria. Okay. Like that level, it feels like it's alive, like it has a personality. And then you go to Brainstorm, like holy crap! Like again, it feels alive. It has its own personality. It's very different. Like everything in Axiom Verge feels, man, it feels very generic. It feels a lot the same.
It doesn't have that personality.
No, it does not. And again, I'm not this. This is why sometimes I hate attacking something because everybody then says like, oh, but that's because you don't like PlayStation.
But you know
like,
what?
No, has nothing to do with PlayStation. I'm an indie developer. I love indie games. Everybody should know this by now. I freaking love indie games. Hold on. Like, there's a Splatfest going on right now. Pokken Tournament just dropped yesterday, and I was playing freaking Mutant Mods.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. This is this guy. That's what I play. That's what I enjoy playing the most, right?
And I don't see it as you attacking Sony or attacking Axiom Verge. It's just that when you're trying to do something that inspires you from the source material, you kind of have an expectation of it having that quality meet that source material, and I kind of actually put it on the notes that definitely with this modern retro style, there's too many Metroidvania style games, and a lot of
There's
people.
no such thing. You shut your dirty whore mouth.
But you. But think about it. When it comes to retro style games, we don't have anything like Gradius or R Type. We don't have anything like I said, Ninja Gaiden or Castlevania. We don't have that 8-bit retro style games that really gave us a challenge. Like where's Adventures of what was the Hudson Soft one where the dude is on the skateboard and is jumping? And I can't think of it. Or we don't have something like Bunk or from TurboGrafx 16. We don't have that kind of stuff anymore. Every time an indie developer, well, not every time an indie developer comes out, some of the indie developers that bring out a game, it's going to be a Metroidvania style game. And it's just too many. Like the only people that I can actually recognize that actually released an old school style game, like you said earlier, Larry, was Capcom with Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10. That's balls hard, but that's the idea of a retro style game, because that's what we played. If you go back and play Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 2 or even Mega Man 3 and not even look up how to defeat the enemies or what the process is, you will be like, I don't want to play this no more. You would give up. But with modern retro style games, they made it a little bit easier for people to play. And I love Guacamelee. That one is good. What was the other one? Well, not Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight is kind of different. That's a different style genre.
I was gonna say, like, you're making too many arguments, and Shovel Knight does not fit any of them.
We was talking
about. I think Shovel Knight, you can definitely feel an influence from a number of different, big name retro series. You can feel that touch of Mega Man. You can, you can feel the touch of Mega Man.
Can I tell you? I don't feel none of Mega Man as Shovel Knight.
Really?
I feel none of it.
I am surprised.
And you want to know? You want to know?
I don't even want to talk to you anymore.
You want to know why I don't? Let me tell you. You want to know why I don't feel none of it? Because
I'm curious.
When it comes to Mega Man, it's not the platforming that I'm thinking of. It's the bosses, and there's no boss selection in Shovel Knight. It really is not. There's no.
There is, but there is not though. Like,
right. But
of course you can. It's not like you can go to any of them and just do whatever. But
you don't receive. But you don't receive none of the enemy's powers. When it comes to Mega Man, definitely this is just for me. When it comes to Mega Man, and I'm just like, it's me going to the bosses and seeing what power works. I don't really care about the platforming game. Why? Because I could throw in something like from the Super Mario world and play better platforming than that. I played DuckTales.
Yeah, but that's different though, right? Like,
right.
The things that you're kind of judging Mega Man on the one thing. Mega Man is more than that. Mega Man, yes, it's true. Mario, it's a way better platformer than Mega Man.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is saying that that's not true though. But platforming on Mega Man is a lot tighter than on Mario, hands down.
It's a lot more pixel perfect precision.
Yeah, exactly. Which I mean, it works on Mega Man, but it wouldn't work on Mario, right? Like if you had to have pixel perfect precision on Mario, you will flip the F out.
I think
you
it
will
has
throw
perfect.
the controller.
I think it has perfect position. I just think people got to play it better.
No, Mario's jump is too floaty though.
But well, not. I think that with the way that they changed it now, probably yes. If you
since the beginning, Mario's jump is too floaty. It's too far and too high.
I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so? That's Mario.
So.
That's like this default Mario.
Larry's enjoying this. You want to know why? Because if I would say when you play Mario 1 and definitely Super Mario Brothers 2, you can know the jumping difference. And maybe a little bit of Super Mario Brothers 3, where I think they kind of perfected in Super Mario Brothers 3, but 3 is a little bit more challenging. It has a little bit more design to it. I think the jumping in Super Mario Brothers 2 is easier. It's very it's perfect. But like I said, I played
Super Mario Bros. 2 is not Super Mario Bros. Though.
Huh?
Super Mario Bros. 2 is not Super Mario Bros. That's the thing.
Right, and that's why I said the jumping in Super Mario Bros. 2 is different than Super Mario Bros. 1.
Exactly, but now you're comparing that, and you're saying like the jump on Super Mario Bros. 2, it's like more precise.
Right, I said you can see the difference from Mario 1.
Yeah,
and Mario 2.
And you totally can, but it's because they're two completely different
games, and that's why I said
that's
even
not
a little
just
bit
different games. That's different series.
Exactly, like Mario 2 is not canon. But it's not though. Mario 2.
I do want to play. I do want to play the original version.
On anything. on anything that if they've done on the Mario. If they were to release the Legend of Mario timeline, it won't, or Historia. Sorry, that's the name of the thing. Mario 2 won't be anywhere. It will maybe be like a footnote. Mario got drunk at the end of this game and had this weird lucid dream. That's it.
But you know what's weird?
That's all Mario 2 is.
It's so weird that they incorporated things from Mario Brothers 2 into like a lot of the series.
Well, yeah, like the Shy Guys were the first time they appeared on Mario 2.
Look at Captain Treasure Tracker, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. You're hitting mucks with turnips. That was all Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, but that was like 20-something years later.
But that's what I'm saying. That's definitely for me trying to get back on topic.
I think they continue to do that more just to play on people's nostalgia factor, just because it was a thing of the time. But they do recognize too that at this point the knowledge is so commonplace that wasn't Mario Brothers 2. That was like Super Doki Doki Panic Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, when
Can we officially rename that to Super Doki Doki Panic Brothers?
I
think it just got better.
I really want to play that original version. I mean,
Super
but when
Doki Brothers,
definitely for me, with Shovel Knight, I would say it's more of DuckTales than it is Mega Man.
Oh, it is. It is. Yes. The thing is, like, you're trying to think of Shovel Knight of the one thing. I don't think Shovel Knight is one thing, man. Like, I think Shovel Knight has a little bit of The Adventure of Link, a lot of DuckTales, a bit of Mega Man, some Mario 3. Like, it's this whole combination of really awesome games merged together in a very unique package that doesn't make it feel generic like the rest of the things that are coming out.
I would say if it took anything from Mega Man 2, I would say Airman's level.
Yeah.
Propeller Knight.
Yeah. Propeller Knight, yep, I agree.
That's pretty much the only thing. Because I'm like, to really throw it in, like some of the level design is kind of like Castlevania almost. In a way. I gotta find.
I could see that maybe a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
And that's part of the magic of Shovel Knight too, is that you can taste the influences from different series and different franchises, but you don't get so much of any one of them that it feels like you're just playing something that they rehashed and reskinned.
Oh, I'm just playing DuckTales.
It's a beautiful way to blend them together.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say this for people who have played Shovel Knight, I do recommend you to play like if you have a Wii U or 3DS of these games, or not download, I should say. If you could get a way to play like Ninja Gaiden and Mario Brothers and Mega Man and like some of the real old school platforming, and go through those games expecting a challenge, don't give up. Because I think that Shovel Knight plays it safe that you don't have to give up, where those games it's just like, look, you got one shot to run through this whole game, and we're going to throw so much challenge at you that you might be upset, but you going to feel more victorious that you defeated a level and be able to brag to your friends over something like Shovel Knight. I don't think you'll be able to brag as much over Shovel Knight defeating the level. Yeah, you might be like, yeah, I got through this level, I beat this game, it was an awesome experience in music. But shoot, tell your friends, yeah, I hate that ego in Ninja Gaiden, but you know what? I was able to get through that level and defeat that boss. I died 15,000 times, but it was worth it. Compared to where Shovel Knight is just like, yeah, I got to the checkpoint, I saved the game pause the game right there and then continue from where I left off.
And you know what, too? Shovel Knight does a great job of giving you the option of, increasing the challenge. You can destroy those checkpoints. Yeah. You've got a great risk-reward system in place if you really want to jack up your challenge.
But
that was a very clever way to do it.
But see, don't forget, on the NES days, we didn't know where the checkpoint was at. When we died,
just hope to God there was one.
Exactly. Oh, trust me, Ninja Gaiden, I have prayed to God so many times and thank him. I was about to sing a choir, slave musical or whatever every time I got to a checkpoint because I did not want to go back. But that was the charm. That was the way that that retro style gaming was. Last point I want to ask you guys, and we're gonna move on to the next point. Why haven't we seen any 16-bit appearances? Like, why haven't anyone really made 16-bit style game?
It's not as good looking as 8-bit. That's the thing.
I wonder if that might be coming somewhere down the line too. Somebody's going to go, you know what? We've done so much of the 8-bit era stuff. You know, maybe it's time to revisit the 16-bit and see, you know, relook at that generation and what can we do with that now that we couldn't do 20 years ago with the Super Nintendo. And I know you want to get off of this real quick, but I just want to throw out there, I know you were talking about, you know, how so many people in book club didn't, you know, make it through Zelda. I just want to say, by the way, you know, talking about guides, used to be we made our own damn guides. You got out a pen and a paper and you made your own damn guide, and that's a skill set that went away that I think Fez did a brilliant job of bringing back. You were playing Fez. If you were smart, you got out a pen and paper if you wanted to actually figure that game the hell out.
I would actually go further than The Legend of Zelda. Phantasy Star for the Sega Master System.
Oh my God, yes.
Good luck on beating that game without a map or a... I haven't played it, and I fear if I play it, I might be like, I might not want to play RPGs for the Sega Master System ever again. Because I heard stories about that game, and yeah, like, but I'm interested in playing it. Any last words?
On Virtual Console, you can get it.
I know. Any last words about it?
No, it makes me sad that, you know, the art of, you know, making your own maps and, you know, getting out a pen and paper and taking notes is a lost art now. That's something I miss dearly. I do have fond memories of, you know, mapping out shit in Zelda and in Metroid and figuring it out for yourself and seeing how it all pieced together. You know, when you piece it, you're like, oh my God, wow, it really is one big cohesive thing that I can draw and it all works. I miss that.
Yeah. I don't miss that really, but I just like to say, Now, also, Shovel Knight is a perfect game, yo. Go and buy that shit.
Please, get it for 3DS.
Just curse, damn it.
Just, if you have it for Wii U or PC or whatever, if you don't own it, get that game. I have it for Wii U and 3DS. That game is just so amazing. I so much love it. That's what made 2014 so hard. It was between Shovel Knight and it was between Bayonetta 2.
Public service announcement. If you're gonna get Shovel Knight, if you can get it for the 3DS or the Wii U, go get a physical copy. Comes with the soundtrack.
Yes.
And the book. And an actual instruction booklet.
Not only that, it's like a good 40-page book full of gorgeous art. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Dude, I love Jacklog games. Like, man,
it's
like
$5 for a physical copy that you can
hold
put
on,
on
Larry.
hands.
I think we met after I said this, but like, dude, I love Shovel Knight so freaking much that I got a copy for my Wii U digitally after I beat it originally on the 3DS digitally as well, of course. When it came out physically, I bought a 3DS physical copy for myself.
Got that.
One for Wii U that I gave a friend as a birthday present, right? So he could play the game and we could play together with the amiibo and stuff like that, right?
Hey, Adrian.
And after a while, I found another Wii U copy that I bought again for myself.
Adrian.
So I've bought 5 copies of Shovel Knight.
Did not me and Anthony both buy you the Shovel Knight amiibo in case you couldn't get one in Canada?
Yeah. See, like that's how people know.
I literally, when it came in my store, Adrian, you was the first one I thought of before I even got one. I was just like, I have to get this for Adrian in case Anthony or no one gets him a Shovel Knight. he will have one. And I was going to I literally be like, I'm going to need your address. I'm going to need know how I need to ship this so you could get it on time. But then you told me that, our good friend Anthony Catu, that he already got you one. And I was just like,
you know what? I'm gonna call him on this because he got me one, but he never shipped it. So to this day, I was still waiting for him to send me my Shovel Knight. But thankfully, a friend of mine, he also he pre-ordered one from Best Buy, and then when he was amiibo hunting, he found another one. He also think of me. He was like, "Dude, I have this one. Of course, I can't give it to you because I'm like it's not like I have tons of money." So I was like, "All right, you're missing a Pit amiibo. I have an extra one. I'll give you Pit.
Adrian.
You give me Shovel Knight."
Oh.
So today, finally, I have my Shovel Knight amiibo. I'm so freaking happy. My life is complete. Flips the table and leaves.
Dude, wait till you get to play some co-op. That shit is the hotness.
Oh,
dude,
I haven't. I
I'm
literally
on
haven't
Twitch
yet, and I'm scared. I'm so scared to do it because I
It's
might.
just so much like hectic chaos on the screen. It's
Oh.
great.
Fantastic though. my plan with this though, I'm very good at platformers, right? I'm very good at retro games. Well, not very good. I'm good at retro games. I'm amazing at Shovel Knight. Just like that, right? My plan was when I was playing with my friend, my good friend Andrew. I don't know if he'll ever listen to this, but I was playing with him. He's not very good at Shovel Knight. So for the longest time, I was like, "You have to do this." And like I was trying to walk him through, like, "Oh God, like no, I need to play with someone that knows Shovel Knight in order to dance properly through the game." But it was still a fantastic experience.
Yes, I love Shovel Knight. That was the game. That was the hot game of the summer. But I'm sorry, everybody. As much as I love it, Bayonetta 2 just outbeat it for me for my personal game of the year. Shovel Knight was hot. Trust me, Shovel Knight. Nintendo was on fire for 2014, but we're going to move on to our next discussion,
Let's move on
which
to the next
actually
topic.
which actually brings up while we're talking about Nintendo, the Wii U's exit. Now we're waiting for E3 to happen in a couple of months. Hopefully they'll be talking more about in the NX. Everybody has been having rumors, trying to leak controller pictures and stuff like that. But I want to ask you guys, can it be considered as a failure due to having a lack of third party titles? Like, what's your, like? Do you think that third titles should have made the Wii U, or do you feel like Nintendo made the Wii U itself? Nintendo and indie games really made the Wii U itself.
I think Nintendo systems are the only ones where the first party exclusives difference
Worth
anymore.
anything.
I
Yep.
think that I think my speakers just went out.
No,
Am I there?
You're
Yeah,
here.
we
You're
can
good.
hear you.
I can't hear any of you.
Oh no.
All right, so I'm gonna
I'm gonna
talk.
drop. Somebody invite me back in.
Okay. Adrian, go ahead and speak.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the thing with third-party titles is that all the third-party titles that are out for all the other consoles, I don't care for. Like honestly, I really don't care for. I would like to play Destiny, though. That's a game that really interests me. But I can buy it on my PS3, right? So that's.
Hey, I think my shit works again.
Yeah, you're back.
The Division is another game that kind of looks interesting.
Mhm.
I'll buy it for PC probably. That's fine by me. So I don't really care the lack of quote unquote third party support on the Wii U because man, all the first party stuff, they're freaking amazing. Like honestly, they're so good. And also indie titles, like they come up all the time. They're fantastic. Like Rumbo that I was playing a lot recently, Mutant Mods that just came out Thursday, I want to say, that I'm playing today. It was also very good. And the thing that I also like, and of course people complain about this a lot, is the wait time between titles on Nintendo platforms is big enough for me to, get a game, play it properly, and save money for the next one whenever that comes out, right? It's not like I'm just like, oh, there's a new game that came out on PS4, buy. oh, next week it's another game that came out for PS4. Buy. I'm just spending money like crazy and not playing any of those games, right? The Wii U is the only console I have on which every time a new game drops, it's at every time I play that game, right? I may play it for just a month and then forget about it for a while, but at least I did play it like a lot, not right? Not like I still have like 20 PS3 games that are still sealed that I haven't gotten around yet because I have to finish this other game first before I move on. So I don't know. I don't care for the lack of third-party support because I think Nintendo is just killing it with the first party, and that's all I care about from Nintendo.
I think with the I think it's success. It didn't need third party. Like it really was successful of being on its own because I'm like there's just so many great titles that people kept talking about. It kept looking at like when it came to even the Nintendo Direct, everybody just like what's coming on for Wii U or what they're going to announce. Like it really made us interested about the games and stuff. And it also have games that is now hard to find, like Zombie U. People, Ubisoft thought that nobody really cared about the game. Well, Zombie didn't actually sell well on PS3 or at 360, but like last October, everybody was just like, "I want to play Zombie U," and has been looking and had so much interest to it, and stuff like that, which just like was definitely for me. I look for like, of course, I'm a big Nintendo fan. But I'm just like everything that they showed and everything they presented just had me like my mouth like I want this now compared to anything that was on the other systems. Just be like I could get that later, or if I do get that game, it's going to end up in my backlog because it's the same typical game that this company is known for. And definitely with the PS3 and 360, even though they had tons of third party titles and stuff, half of those companies and developers closed after their game was released. Where Nintendo was just like, hey, Platinum, want to make a game for us? Want some money? Sure. Tecmo Kobe, want to learn how to make a great game? Yeah, come work with us. Namco Bandai, Capcom, you guys in the arcade business? Want to make sure that you guys get some money with some hit titles? Here's Luigi Mansion, here's Mario Kart GP.
Pokken Tournament.
Tournament. It's becoming. It may become one of the hardest games to find this weekend, unless you buy it on the Wii U. But some people might have it. Like people are talking about that. Splatoon was looked at like very weird when it came out, and then look at it, 2.1 million, and still going up. Like it was a big hit when it came out. If you look at Watch Dogs, for example, versus Mario Kart 8, how many people play Watch Dogs? And how many people play Mario Kart 8? Because I think if you go online, people are still playing Mario Kart 8. Where Watch Dogs, people played it for like 2 weeks and gave up on it.
I think it was Miyamoto who said that Nintendo's philosophy was to make games that you don't want to trade in, right?
Mm-hmm. And they've done a great job of that.
Exactly. Like, man, like I don't trade in my games because I think this is stupid. Don't trade in your games. Just earn more money and buy new games. Just don't sell your shit.
I mean, they could
unless you really hate the game, which still for it.
They could trade in their games if they want to. It helps my library for the other systems.
Sure, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't.
I quit trading shit in because I'm building a library that one day, my daughter's going to be able to enjoy.
Right. Well,
exactly.
Like my Nintendo systems, it's a day one purchase. I don't buy any used games for my Nintendo consoles. Like none. Like the Sony's and the Xbox, unless it's on sale or it's used, that's when I'll buy it from them. Because I'm not saying that that's the value of those games. It's just that I know that I'm not going to get the bang for my buck when I get them. Where I feel like when I invested in a Nintendo game, it was worth the purchase that I got.
Yeah, and whenever you see people trending in games, like Nintendo games are normally the ones that hold the most value. Right? Like you can, Smash Brothers for 3DS came out almost 2 years ago. It still is worth like $25, right? Like, and it's a $40 game. That is a lot of value for a game, considering that if you trade, Watch Dogs, for example, right? Or actually, no. Let's say a game that came out
Take
around
any
the same
sports
time.
game a year after it came out.
Yeah, exactly. Totally drops to like $10 or something like that, right? Like,
Oh no, you're not even gonna get that out of it.
no, that's true. The sports game is like what, $2 for 1 year
Yep.
after?
Yeah, if that.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So yeah, like, sorry, like Nintendo games, they make games that you think twice about trading or selling or just getting rid of, right? And it's true, man. Like whenever I look at my library, and it's like, man, like I have a lot of crap, right? Like I have a lot of stuff that are like, man, like I shouldn't have bought this. But then like I really think about it, like, well, and maybe I shouldn't have, but I did enjoy it. Will I sell it? No. But I look at some other console games. Like I have some Xbox 360 games. Like why did I get it for 360? Like I could have gotten it for PC, could have gotten it for PS3, and I got it for 360 instead. Like well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But that's the beauty of Nintendo. You don't really feel like selling your stuff because they're so good.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
it's stuff that you never want to get rid of.
yeah, and I feel like definitely with the Wii U, like I love doing YouTube and Netflix and Hulu on the gamepad. Like when I'm walking around, when I'm doing other things, when I'm laying in the bed, or like it feels like very convenient and stuff. But I love doing 8-player Smash with people. I love how the Wii U music is. Like you cannot deny the elevated music that Nintendo presents is some of the best. And hearing it on the Wii U is just so great. Like even doing the eShop or with the little gambling game and stuff like that feels like really cool, like really simple. Games don't take forever to download compared to like PS3 and 360 and stuff. Like you could buy a game and it takes like maybe 45 minutes to download.
Mm-hmm.
It's not stuff that has to be very powerful. Cause look at Yoshi's Woolly World graphically, it's beautiful. Super Mario 3D World is beautiful compared to something like Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto. Like they look impressive, but sometimes it doesn't pop, and it really doesn't stand out. Where when we talk about games on the Wii U, we definitely talk about graphic and art style and how Nintendo really tried a lot on with the Wii U compared to the other systems where everything has to be almost realistic and gritty. Like I think personally for me, like Wii U has some of the best art direction in their games compared to the other systems.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing too. That gets into the argument of, graphical horsepower versus art direction, and what's more important.
And we all look at the
Or
like,
graphics against gameplay. Like that battle is as big as hell and heaven. Like it's like what do you prefer? Like I feel, and I was actually today I was demoing Pokken Tournament, right? And
Yeah.
I got some time, between sessions, on which I just walk around the store and I started to look at like the PS4 games. I was like, there's nothing here that interests me, right? Like they look amazing graphic wise, but like they don't really look fun. So I was like, oh, again, do I need a PS4? Like no, not really. Why would I spend the money on it? So I was
we'll
like,
talk
oh,
about
I
that
guess
in the
I
next
guess I
section.
just saved myself $600. I just
Right.
move on.
And well, I definitely with Nintendo, I think the indies were the third party, and definitely with Unity being so easy to make their games and be able to program it and transfer it on Wii U. I think that was like really cool because there's like a really lot of indie titles on the Wii U, like really strong titles. You mentioned Rumbo, Adrian, and that's a really great game. We all just praise Shovel Knight, like that's a required game. Like definitely for me, Shantae and the Pirate
Pirate's Curse.
Curse, or Pirate's
Yeah.
Curse. Very great game. There's just things on the Wii U that you just that is very creative and just like plays very well on the gamepad. I really love the gamepad. Trust me, I go all out for the GameCube controller. Like that's to me, that's one of Nintendo's best controllers of all time. I love the Super Nintendo. A lot of people like that controller, but I think the GameCube controller is the best of all time. But
Amen.
but the Wii,
Super Nintendo is better.
but the Wii, the Wii, we'll have that discussion later. The Wii U, the Wii U is very comfortable in my hands. Definitely, I have. When Xbox 360 came out, I really had a problem with that, and it just didn't feel right. Luckily, the Xbox One controller feels good. The DualShock 4 feels a little bit good, but like the gamepad just feels so comfortable in my hand. And I think a lot of people they think that, since the Wii U wasn't as powerful enough as a PS3 or 360, or didn't have online functionality like the other systems, or really didn't do exclusives with a lot of companies and stuff like that. They didn't get the support that Nintendo did. The Wii U didn't get the support that it needed. But I feel like, to me, the gamepad allowed a lot of creativity that could have been done on the system, and I just feel like the third party really got lazy and didn't really want to feel creative. They complained about development for the Wii U and always think that nobody would buy their game. It's not that nobody would buy their game. They're not creative. They weren't going to bring anything creative and new to the platform.
They just didn't want to make any games that required actual fucking effort.
And
yeah,
right. And then the thing about it is, they'll hype it for the other systems. It comes out, and like I said earlier, their company and the developer ended up closing the company after the game is released. Like, why? I'm like, you didn't want to develop a game for Nintendo, but you made a game for the other two systems, and you end up getting closed. Like, how unfair is that? Nintendo didn't bankrupt you. In fact, Nintendo probably would have been like, hey, let us help you develop this game for our platform. And everybody look at it this way. When it came to Hyrule Warriors, everybody went crazy and thought that it was the weirdest, oddest games and that they would never played it. People got that game in their hand and see how Nintendo and Tecmo work very well together. We won't talk about Devil's Third. That's something completely different. If you play Ninja Gaiden on PS3 and 360, you will argue. The first thing you will argue about is not you'll argue about the difficulty, but you will argue how terrible that camera is. Where you don't have that problem with like Nintendo. Like Nintendo came in and kind of helped companies and stuff to make their games really work very well on the Wii U. Look at Platinum Games. They were really good. They were really good with Bayonetta 2. And you could see that work that they used from Bayonetta 2 in Transformers Devastation. Like, you could actually see that.
No, definitely. And that's absolutely true. It's a shame that more companies haven't reached out to Nintendo to make their shit work better, and be more worthwhile on their platform. And I do think there's some vice versa. I think it's a shame that Nintendo hasn't done more to maybe make the system more inviting to third parties. I do say all credit to them for what they did with Platinum with Bayonetta, and I know it's still floating as a rumor, but I hope that maybe we see the same thing with Ubisoft and Beyond Good and Evil 2, because that would be fantastic as well. And maybe that becomes the way that Nintendo brings third parties more into the fold with by taking some of their projects that they're struggling getting off the ground and saying, hey, we'll help you with that. And not only that, but we'll make it so that it's worth having on our platform, that it takes full advantage of it, and really take the time to show them the ropes through the development process by working hand in hand with them.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think Nintendo should do that more. Although, if the rumors about the NX are to be believed, mm, I don't know if they're true or not. Apparently, it's very easy to develop for the NX, right? So maybe we'll see that resurgence now again to third parties coming to Nintendo platforms. I just hope, you know what? I just hope it's not the same. Oh, we're making. Just give me a game title
The
of
Division.
that game. The Division, yeah. Oh yeah, The Division. It's been out for a year on everything else, but now you can have it on Nintendo. Like, no, I don't care about that. No, nope, that's too late. Just give me something new. Work on something new. Stop recycling shit.
Yeah. Oh God. Let's not talk about what happened with Mass Effect on Wii U. Hey
Well,
guys,
Yeah.
here have Mass Effect 3. Everywhere else is gonna get the trilogy. Why the hell would you do that?
Oh,
Seriously,
because
why
that
would you
so
was
put
dumb.
EA.
Mass Effect 3
That was
on the Wii U and not hand me the trilogy instead? Where
I
if
even
I'm a devout, Nintendo follower, Mass Effect 3 is going to be my introduction to the series. I don't want to pick up the end of your fucking series. Give me the trilogy on the Wii U and let me play through it all on a system where I'm comfortable and I'm happy to have it.
I'll even go
That was
further
the
than that, Larry. Why the heck you trying to give me the latest Madden? That's almost 2 years old. If I'm playing
oh
Madden,
god,
right? If I'm
yes.
playing Madden 13, I should my game should not be Madden 11 hid under the Madden 13 name.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah. So we're gonna get
And
into.
everybody blames Nintendo for that, but it shouldn't be. Well, whatever.
No,
Let's
they
move
can't
on.
blame Nintendo for that. That was EA. Because
Yeah.
The thing about that, EA not only screwed Nintendo, EA actually screwed Sony. No, yeah, EA actually screwed the Vita owners who got that game because that was like the same thing as the Wii U version. Like that was 2 years behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna get to our last discussion, and that's VR. GDC was this past week, and they had a conference. Sony had a conference there, and announced that the PlayStation VR was going to be priced at $399, and it'll be available this October. It does require the PlayStation camera. Um, they also showed off what all comes with it, and after um, like March 22nd, before this recording comes out, um, they will have pre-orders. They might be sold out by then for the bundle that comes with the camera. And people are talking about, how comfortable it is, and people are debating if they're gonna get it or not get it. Also, the Vive is priced at $699, and the Oculus Rift is priced at $599 with a $1,500 plus computer tag. Like you need a really high power rig to even play the Oculus Rift. And it doesn't come with any controllers, but for the PlayStation VR, you can use your Move controllers or you could use your DualShock 4 controllers. What do you guys think personally of virtual reality? Is it the next step for video game evolution, or do you think that this is just a accessory to complement that system, or to give some people certain experiences?
I think the only VR that matters came from the 90s, and that was VR Troopers.
Ha 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 ha.
All
I
right, terrible
love
TV flashback aside.
no, I love that show. We are VR. We are.
Wow.
Oh God,
You guys totally dated yourselves there.
I'm entirely aware of this. I'm convinced I was born an old man. I'm pretty sure I came out screaming, "Get off my lawn!"
No, but coming back to the topic though, um, VR can create new experiences, right? Honestly, any console, any software, anything can create new experiences. It really depends on harness um, how you harness those new experiences, right?
Mhm.
Like for example, the Wii was a new experience, right? It was the whole motion stuff, right? Like the Wii Sports was fantastic. Mario Galaxy was another one, and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
The Kinect, as much as people hate it, was actually really cool. Like I remember getting Kinect Adventures. I was like, man, this is super crazy. I'm getting tired. I'm sweating, but this is actually quite fun. Like
Yeah,
for parties and
I
stuff like
played
that, I
Dance
thought it
Central
was
too.
fantastic.
Dance Central 2 was really nice.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So VR can it create new experiences? Totally, it totally can, and it probably will. Are there those experiences out now, or will they be out this year? I don't know. I find it really hard to believe. If there is one game that I'm waiting for, and I think did we touch on this last week
Yeah,
on
about
the Sword Art Online? Yeah,
the Sword Art Online.
yeah, that's the
Yep.
one game that I'm like really waiting for, right? So we'll see. I mean, again, we talked about this last week. I have to wait for the one thing that will make me want to get a VR experience right now.
I I don't know if there's any experience out there that I find driving enough for to justify VR at this point, and I think a lot of that comes from the fact of, holy fuck, bare minimum is $400. It costs the same as the damn system did
It costs more than
for
the
an
system.
accessory. You know, yeah, exactly. You've, I
It's
think that
400. It's 400 plus the 50 LV camera plus whatever the move things are plus the game. So it's not just 400. You're really spending like 550, $600.
But you also
yeah,
got to add if you don't have a PlayStation 4 for PSVR. Like if you don't,
Which was the one reason when everyone was like, "Oh, PlayStation VR is so cheap." Like it's not. Like I don't have a PS4. For me, it's gonna be like almost $1,000 just to get everything, right?
if you decide
And
that
like,
you want it, yes.
and exactly right. So in my case, like I have a very good computer. It's somewhat VR ready. Why not get an Oculus Rift instead? It will work me for better stuff and it's cheaper than buying a new console with the whole other stuff. So
yeah,
that's
I
that.
just between the price tag and I just haven't seen anything that's really driving and compelling enough for me to go, this is why I have to have VR. You know, the closest anything has come for me has been looking at Adrift, but you know, I don't have to have VR to play that. I can play that on my big screen, you know, on an Xbox One or a PS4 and still enjoy it just as much.
Yep, exactly.
And
Sure.
do you guys feel like VR is only built for just an experience and not built for anything where we could talk about character development or storylines or really things like the normal things that we talk about with video games, where we just be like, oh, what I did in this was my experience. Well, what was the story about? It's about a bear and you just interact with the bear. Like, do you think that that's going to be more compelling to say to people and have discussions with, or do you think that VR will be able to open the door for people to see how a game really is, like playing it and stuff?
I think
I don't
VR
think
is
so.
I think VR is going to be stuck in a catch-22. To be
Yep.
completely honest, it's going to be a case of it's so expensive that the user base isn't there for the people that can make the games that really drive an amazing story narrative to find it worth their time to develop for anything for VR. And going the other way, I think that those that can afford VR are going to look at it and go, for the most part at least, there's not enough compelling shit on here for me to justify buying this, and it's going to be stuck in a catch-22, at least until just the laws of economics bring the cost of it down.
How with the PlayStation VR, do you guys think that they need to have a strong library in order to sell the system? And what is the required, time that a game should be for the PlayStation VR? Like, should it be 5 hours plus? and the game costs $40, or do you think they're going to charge us $60 and the game is only like 3.5?
Oh, cool. That's time will tell.
Like, cause like if you look at Res Infinite, like that's the selling point for a lot of people for the PlayStation VR. But if you play Res itself, I think Res is about a 4 to 5 hour like gameplay, like game time. If you decide to, or I think it's 6 hours, to experience that game in full. Like, do you do that same thing with PlayStation VR? Would it be the same? Would it be 4 or 5 hours and being charged $60, or like, I'm not. I don't want to say that's the. I'm probably am saying it like the price justifies the time that we're going to spend in it. Because I know people just like where it's not expected that you play the game for 2 to 3 hours. You kind of play it in short bits and stuff.
I don't know. I think the comparison between how long a game is and how expensive it is frankly a moot point. You should not be locking your game experience by how long something is. Don't artificially drag it out. How many games do we look at that come out and go, why, for fuck's sake, is it this long? It does not need to be. It's just artificially inflated. I think, one of the biggest things that if I'm going to spend money on a game, I want it to be well produced, and that includes, what gets left on the cutting room floor, that it should be an appropriate length for the story or the narrative that you're trying to tell me. Don't pad it and inflate it just for the sake of being able to say, oh my God, we've got 60 hours of gameplay, and 30 of it you won't give a shit about, but we'll leave that in an asterisk at the bottom of the box.
Yep, I agree.
Would there be DLC for VR?
Oh God, let's not talk about that. I don't want to get on that. I'm gonna get angry.
I think there could be, but again, it just depends on what game you're talking about and what you're getting into. Does the game merit having an expanding universe? Is there a way to do it competently where it feels good, where you don't feel like you got gypped out of half the game just so that they could charge you an extra $15 later
to get more of the experience?
Yeah.
And the last question, do you think that in order for us to be sold on it, we really need to like go to Best Buy or Target, and like Sony definitely has to advertise this and get it on our eyes, not get it in our hands, but get it on our eyes. Do you think they need to, like, after E3, do you guys think that they need to start rolling like demo stations out like quickly, like maybe July or August?
I don't want to put something on my face that some greasy kid put on his face before. Like, I don't want that. You kidding me? Like, that sounds like the worst time ever.
I think first and foremost, I need to see that there is a compelling reason for me to even want to purchase it in the first place, and we're not there yet. I haven't seen anything that makes me go, oh my God, I've got to have that to play this. That game's just not there yet. And even if that game is there, I think I do need to be able to get my hands on it somewhere and at least, see how it actually functions in reality, not in a tech demo.
There needs to be like an actual, like, well, I would say not a tech demo, but an actual like game demo, like a real life level that's going to be in the actual game that you can experience. Because I think definitely for me, if I'm going to be sold on it, I do want to try Res Infinite. I don't want to try anything else. I think Res Infinite will probably not sell me, but I would just like to get the experience of what it feels like.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for this lovely talk. We covered a whole bunch of stuff. We do recommend everybody get Shovel Knight. That much we do.
Yes.
That we do.
It's
recommend.
worth $25, you cheap bastards. Go buy it.
Yeah.
So, Larry, do you have anything to plug before we go?
Not really. I'm out there on Facebook. Come find me. Larry is always right giver. I'm floating around the NVC video game book club page as well. Beyond that, nothing at the moment.
And Adrian, anything you would like to plug?
My company, the reason why I'm always tired and I never have energy, differencemachine.com. Go check that out. We're still working on Tuna Cycle, coming
I love
out
that name of the
surprisingly soon. So,
Gentleman Tuna.
yes. So, check that out for sure.
I love that title name, Tuna Cycle. Like,
yeah,
I really do hope you guys make merchandise. Like, I want a T-shirt or a hoodie with that on. I would literally order it.
I'll see if I can hook you up for sure. But no, we're working really hard on Tuna Cycle. We are preparing ourselves for Calgary Expo, which is a local quote-unquote Comic-Con here. So we're preparing. We're going to present the company there. We're going to have some demo stations for Tuna Cycle. Hopefully the game will be out by then, but it's game development. You can never be too certain about things. We're working very hard on that. I'm actually working on some other stuff, so there's really cool things coming. Hopefully I'll be able to talk more about them soon. Just go to defrostingmachine.com. You can find my developer account there, or you can find my personal account, which is on Twitter, which is Bojox. That's BOJOXZ. I'm that on Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, everywhere, right? So if you want to know what I think about stuff and why I hate Vita, just go and check that out.
And I do a podcast called Optional Opinion, which you can find on the anomalousradionetwork.podbean.com and at SoundCloud. This week, where you listen to this episode, I have a feature out called Truth versus Justification. You guys can read that on IGN under Anime, ENIME. You can also check us out at the MVC Video Game Book Club on Facebook, where we're playing Pokemon this month, and we're getting ready for that discussion. So hopefully everybody has a 3DS and picked up a copy, red, blue, or yellow, and join us in the discussion. Cannot wait to see what everybody thinks about this game. If you like our podcast, you can email the show. Do we have a Gmail yet? Do we have the World One?
By the time the show drops, yes, it's gonna be world1.1@gmail.com.
Okay, awesome. And you can find that in the description. You can also follow me on Twitter at ThatRetrocode, ThatRetrocode. Friend me on Facebook under Edward Varnell, V as in Victor, ARNELL, Edward, EDWARD. Some people think I say Albert. Like, no, that's the wrong thing. Like I was getting Starbucks one day and I said, my name is Edward. And she was just like, Albert? I'm like, I'm not Albert.
Like, who
the
fuck's Albert?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what country bucket did you come from?
It's actually quite amazing. Every time I go to Starbucks, I just say, oh, my name is AD, and I've got an AB, a V, AD sometimes, of course, but like the worst combinations possible. AB one time, I was like, man, like, it's just strange.
That's why I go to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, it's a Starbucks. That's what I do.
I don't know what coffee you drink, Larry.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee. I love the smell of it. I can't stand the taste.
Really?
Seriously.
I just go for tea. By the way. Yes, I don't drink coffee either.
I feel left out.
Next time on the Coffee Podcast.
What did they see? Oh, no, nothing. I was thinking of Retro Force Go. They used to be like, welcome to this kind of podcast, and they'll say something completely different. And Chad Caselmo would say something completely different. But thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great week. Have a great weekend whenever you listen to this podcast. I want to thank Larry and Adrian for this discussion. And we will see you guys next time. And we are out. Bye.
Peace. Adrian, I've got your next video game pitch for your company.
Wow.
It came to me in a dream.